Most people over 65 believe strokes come out of nowhere. One day you're fine, the next day everything changes. But what if that belief is the most dangerous myth of all? What if your body has been sending warnings for years, quietly, subtly, in ways almost everyone ignores? Here's the mystery. Blocked arteries in the neck, the carotid arteries, often give signals long before a stroke happens. The problem is not that the signs aren't there. It's that they don't look like what people expect. Doctors call it carotid artery disease. It's one of the leading causes of stroke in older Americans. Yet most seniors believe if they don't have chest pain or dramatic symptoms, their arteries must be fine. That assumption has cost millions their independence. Early clues show up in strange ways: fatigue, vision flickers, brief confusion that disappears. None of it feels urgent. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. To understand how this unfolds, we need to rewind. This story doesn't start after retirement. It starts decades earlier, in early adulthood. In your 20s and 30s, arteries are flexible, blood flows easily. Even when cholesterol starts to rise, the body adapts. Studies from the Framingham Heart Study, one of the longest-running American health studies, showed that plaque buildup often begins silently in early adulthood. No pain, no warning, just microscopic changes in the artery walls. In those early years, cause and effect is invisible. Diets high in processed foods, smoking, unmanaged stress, and long periods of sitting slowly irritate the inner lining of arteries. The body responds by sending cholesterol to patch the damage. Over time, those patches harden. But because blood flow is still adequate, nothing feels wrong. That's why people dismiss prevention advice when they're young. The consequences feel abstract. Move into the 40s and something shifts. Blood pressure begins to creep up. Insulin resistance becomes more common. According to CDC data, nearly half of American adults over 40 have hypertension, many without symptoms. This is when plaque in the carotid arteries starts to thicken. Still, the brain compensates, blood reroutes. The warning signs remain subtle. Here's where things get interesting. In the 40s and 50s, many people experience brief neurological symptoms and don't connect them to stroke risk. A moment of blurry vision, trouble finding a word, lightheadedness when standing. These episodes may last seconds or minutes. Doctors call some of them transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs. They are often brushed off as stress or aging. That's another clue slipping by unnoticed. Now comes the shift after 70 that most seniors ignore. Aging arteries stiffen naturally, that's biology. But when stiffening combines with plaque buildup, blood flow to the brain becomes fragile. According to the American Heart Association, carotid artery narrowing becomes significantly more common after age 70, yet routine screening is not standard unless symptoms appear. This creates a dangerous gap between risk and detection. This is where the 10 warning signs start to surface more clearly, but still not clearly enough to scare people into action. The first sign is brief vision loss in one eye, often described as a curtain coming down. It resolves quickly, so people ignore it. The second is sudden weakness or numbness on one side of the body that fades within minutes. The third is trouble speaking or understanding words that comes and goes. The fourth is unexplained dizziness or loss of balance, especially when walking. The fifth, the one most people never connect, is sudden extreme fatigue or confusion after routine activity. This can be a sign the brain is not getting enough oxygen. The sixth is headaches that feel different than usual, sharper or pressure-like. The seventh is ringing in the ears or a whooshing sound sensed with a heartbeat. The eighth is facial drooping that corrects itself quickly. The ninth is sudden trouble swallowing without another explanation. The 10th is memory lapses that appear abruptly, not gradually. Here's the twist. Many of these signs disappear because blood flow returns temporarily. That creates false reassurance. People think, if it were serious, it wouldn't go away. But in carotid disease, temporary symptoms are often the final warnings before a major stroke. The breaking point comes when a plaque ruptures or blood flow drops to low. That's when a full stroke happens. According to American stroke data, nearly 800,000 people have a stroke each year in the U.S., and risk doubles every decade after 55. For seniors, strokes often lead to permanent disability rather than quick recovery. The fallout is massive. Health changes first. Mobility, speech, and independence can disappear overnight. Financial stress follows. Long-term care, rehabilitation, and home modification strain savings. Lifestyle shrinks. Social circles narrow. Depression rates spike. The cost isn't just physical, it's emotional and financial. What makes this more tragic is that many seniors try fixes based on outdated advice. They focus only on cholesterol numbers and ignore blood pressure variability. They assume aspirin alone is enough. They avoid scans because they feel fine. Some believe neck artery problems always cause pain. That's false. Carotid arteries can be severely blocked without pain. Now let's link this back to today. American health surveys show that fewer than half of seniors recognize transient neurological symptoms as stroke warnings. Millions delay care because symptoms vanish. That delay is the difference between prevention and catastrophe. So, what can you do now if you're over 60? First action: take transient symptoms seriously. If you experience sudden vision changes, weakness, or confusion, even briefly, get medical evaluation. Time matters. Second action: manage the big three aggressively: blood pressure, blood sugar, and inflammation. These drive carotid plaque progression more than cholesterol alone. Third action: ask direct questions. If you have multiple risk factors, ask your doctor whether carotid screening is appropriate for you. Here is the clear warning. Based on evidence, do not wait for symptoms to repeat or worsen. The first warning is often the last safe one, and here's the thought to hold onto until the next video. What if aging well isn't about avoiding disease, but learning to recognize the quiet signals before damage becomes permanent? If this opened your eyes, tap like so others don't miss it. Share this with someone over 65 who believes strokes strike without warning. Drop a comment if any of these signs surprised you. Subscribe for the next chapter, where we break down one overlooked daily habit that quietly protects your brain after 70.